here's the stuff we're going to use for today's project. Can you guess what it is? Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And today we're designing and creating a stamp. Now, this is on behalf of hashtag 4th Art Saturday, as brought to us by the Merry LPA. So you can interpret their themes. Each artist participates. Oh, it's a hop, y'all. It's a hop. Links below. Can interpret the theme as they see fit. Now, say, create and design a stamp. Could have been a postage stamp. Could have been a foam stamp, you know, where you take your fun foam and make a stamp out of that, or you could make a stamp out of whatever you wanted to make a stamp out of. Okay? Well, I saw the Shelley Studio did a video earlier. It's been a while, y'all. Anyway, she used she was doing a still life and used an image of a hand that had a swirl in the palm of it. And I thought, oh, I love that. So I'm like, that's the stamp I'm going to make. She didn't have a stamp. It was a ceramic piece. But I thought, well, I'm going to make me a stamp like that. So I have. That's what we're doing. We found a photo. Well, it wasn't a photo. We found an image on the internet. And I sort of traced it out. And I reversed it because I want one of each. Because I don't know if I want left or right. I don't know what I might want when I want it. So we're starting off with, and it looks like a right hand, but it's really a left hand. Okay? Because you got to, you know, reverse these things once you stamp them out. Anyway, that one I traced out pretty good. So that's the one we're going to use. Don't worry, we're going to do both hands. And we'll get to that later. So we're carving. Now, here's the thing about carving. Oh, and this is the speedball pink rubber stuff. It's the one I prefer. Okay? So it's the one I use because it's the one I like. And I have speedball tools. And I think one of the other ones is an off-brand. But I don't know what brand it is. And we're just, you know, going around and doing that. Okay? So one of the first things you need to decide once you find an image, and if you're a beginner, I definitely say fewer lines is more butter, okay? Decide if you want to keep the line or carve away the line, because it makes a difference on whether you have a positive or a negative image. I prefer to keep the line and carve away the rest of the material, which is actually a little bit of a harder thing to do. So that's what I'm doing, okay? And rather than distort my hand overly much, I am turning the piece I'm carving instead of wiggling my hand around as much. I mean, I do wiggle my hand around some, but I'm more inclined to move the piece. So we do this for a long time. Not really that long. It took about 45 minutes to carve the one hand. And that's not overly long, y'all. Not really. So we're doing that. We're cutting around the outside. And then in a minute, you will see me cut away all the excess pink carving stuff that I decide I don't even need to have on there anymore. I tend to start from the inside and work my way out. I see other people starting from the outside and working their way in. Just have to decide what is best and most comfortable for you. Okay? Okay. The tools are sharp. I know y'all have heard this before. If you've ever watched anybody carving rubber stamps, they're sharp. They will cut you. Okay? So you need to be careful. which is why you're supposed to keep the blade part pointing away from your fingers and such. I know. I said it's supposed to. I didn't say I did. Okay? Okay, back to the beginning. When I drew my, excuse me, I drew around my image with a pencil. It's just a regular pencil. I don't even know if it's a number 2. Okay? You can do that with the pink stuff. You draw around an image and then flip that image over on top of the pink stuff. Excuse me, y'all. And you burnish it down pretty well, and the graphite will stick to the pink stuff. It doesn't erase very well. You can try, and I usually do every time I carve, but it really doesn't erase very well. It will rub off and wipe off, okay? You can also draw directly onto the pink stuff with a pencil or a pen, ink pen, or a permanent type marker. And the reason I say you want to use a permanent type is because a water-based marker, like a watercolor marker, will tend to bead up on the pink stuff surface because it is a rubber-like substance. I don't think it's real rubber, but it's rubber-like, okay? Like I say, pretty much every time I do a stamp carving video, numbers and letters will need to be reversed, carved in the reverse, the opposite, okay? The best way to achieve this is to write or print out your image, You're going to make sure it's dark enough that you can see through the paper onto the back, and then you trace it onto the back, and then you can just flip that over onto your pink surface, burnish it, and now you have the reverse. That's the easiest way for me that I've found, in my opinion, as a stamp carver person, fiddler person. Yeah, that. Now, one of the biggest steps is testing your stamp out, which we've already tested this one, once? How many times? I don't know. Twice. We're on our 3rd time. Oh, bless my heart, I wasn't watching. So when you stamp it out, and I do recommend stamping with a black ink, especially in the beginning there, so you can see where you need to remove more material. And remember, when you stamp it, it's the reverse. So, it's kind of tricky. It's tricky to see the where you need to remove more material. Now, with the pink stuff, if you scratch the surface, it's going to show up in your stamp because it's pretty delicate to mark, which makes it kind of nice because you don't have to carve super deeply to get your image in there, okay? Now, you may have noticed I did not carve this out greatly, but it works. I took my image, put it on my ink pad, stamped it over on my little extra piece over there that I want my reversed hand in, and that's what we're carving on now. And essentially, I'm doing it the same. I've sped it up just a way bit more faster because, the whole thing is sped up, y'all, because it is. And we're just going to carve that out the same way, leaving the line and taking away the rest of the material. Let's see what else. It's not going to be exactly the same because it's not going to be exactly the same. I'm not a machine. I'm just not. No matter how hard I try, I am just not a perfect oiled machine. My hair gets oily, but I don't think that counts so much. Anyway, yeah. So we did not do necessarily anything with our stamps today. I'm sure we will use them at some point or another. Today's project was to design and create a stamp. And that's what we've done. Actually, by the end of this video, by the time we get to the photo montage, we will have 2 stamps. One of a left hand, one of a right hand. All right. And we can use either one, both of them, whatever we want to do. Because sometimes creating something to use later is where you feed your creative happy. Does that make sense? In my head it makes sense. I don't know if it made sense in my words. Did I mention? I don't know. I might have. How I think my fingers look maybe a little stubby in the photo montage. Looking straight down on it, it doesn't look stubby. But from an angle, the little fingers look short and stubby. And that's okay. I'm sure I won't carve and other hands, or not today, or not this time around, to make the fingers longer. But I will try to keep that in mind if I do hands again or fingers again, so that they're, a little longer. I wonder then if I would make them too long. Like I said, once you carve this stuff away, you can't put it back, y'all. And little surface scratches, nicks, yeah, they'll show. You might not can see them when you're looking at it, but they'll show up later. Curves can be, actually, in my opinion, curves are slightly easier than straight lines, because of how, for instance, the way I'm spinning the pink stuff around to get the curve. As long as you're at a consistent speed, your curves will end up being pretty good. And I think that's it. Ta-da! Photo montage. Be sure to visit all the fellow hoppers, and let's see what they designed and created for our 4th Art Saturday, y'all. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all. Be creative.